Hi, I'm josemonkey, and I find people who ask to be found. This is a quick recap of the August 23rd live stream that I did.
Find me, josemonkey.
You asked me to figure out where this video was recorded, and it was actually a pretty easy one. I pretty quickly figured out that this sign said Octa Pharma Plasma, and within just a few minutes of searching for that, I found a photo that looked like it was probably the right place. I wonder if this is right. I think this is right. And guys, that was it. You were here in Baltimore, Maryland. Here's a street view photo of the buildings, and using this manhole cover on the ground here, I was able to figure out exactly which parking spot you were in. The closest previous location to this was in Season 1, Episode 243 in Dundalk, Maryland. That's about 7 miles or about 11 kilometers away from the spot.
Find me, josemonkey.
You asked me to figure out where this video was recorded, and this one was a bit trickier. This person shows us a parking lot, and we can see a few different things here. I was pretty sure this building was a bank, and near that building we see a US flag and also another flag, which I thought was probably a state flag. We can see that it's a dark color, probably blue, with a white shape in the middle. We can also see that there's an Arby's here. We've got a couple other buildings here, and people in the live stream chat said that they thought this one was a Starbucks, and that maybe this one was an Advanced Auto Parts. We could also see this sign on the ground here that was kind of brown and yellow, but it was very difficult to make out. That seemed like a small thing, but I was pretty sure that was going to be significant. Is the yellow and brown sign for a hotel? I don't think so. I feel like, oh man, what is that sign? And I'm afraid that even when I figure it out, like it'll be just some national chain or something that isn't going to be very helpful. Yeah, it's definitely not permanent. I was just hoping it would be something that would be distinctive to, for that area. Like if it was for, like a realtor that's based in a particular city or, something like that. But eventually I had to move on to other stuff. I spent a lot of time trying to figure out which states might have flags like the one that we see in the video. And I initially focused on states like Kansas and Virginia, but I wasn't really sure. One of the things I love about these live streams is that it's a collaborative effort with the people who are watching. While I was messing around looking at state flags, Tom Arena was able to figure out what that brown and yellow sign was. It was for Jordan Trotter Commercial Real Estate. So that told us that this was very likely somewhere near Augusta, Georgia. That threw me for a loop because the Georgia flag doesn't look anything like this flag. Some people in the chat mentioned that maybe it was a South Carolina state flag, since Augusta, Georgia is very close to the border with South Carolina. Anyway, shortly after we had that rough location, we found it. You were near the SRP Federal Credit Union in North Augusta, South Carolina. I believe a user named MJ was the first one to name this location correctly. By the way, hi to all the ride-along gang folks who showed up during the live stream. When I went to check out that spot, I was able to use the Google Street View to confirm the view of the bank. I was also able to confirm that those other businesses were a Starbucks and an Advanced Auto Parts, just like the people in chat said. The closest previous location to this one was in Season 2, Episode 82 in Augusta, Georgia. That's about 21 miles or 34 kilometers away from this spot. You asked me to figure out where this video was recorded, and I thought it was going to be really easy, but man, I fumbled around with this one. Right away, we can see that there's a sign here that says Copper Creek, and I figured it was game over right there. We can also see that there's a T-Mobile store here and a Cato Fashions. I thought this other building over here was probably either like a salon or maybe like a beauty supply store based on the pictures we see. And we could also see that there's a Domino's down the road. A user named T-Link told us in the chat that this was probably a direct auto insurance sign. That ended up being right, by the way. Now, I thought just searching for Copper Creek would get me to this place right away, but guys, I checked multiple places that were not right. Also, Google kept trying to help me by suggesting that I was looking for Cooper Creek, not Copper Creek, which is kind of annoying. Anyway, looking at the Copper Creek results was a little bit tedious, and Google was really annoying me with its autocorrect, so I started trying to come up with clever solutions using what we could see. So what do we know we have? We have a Cato, and we have a T-Mobile for sure, and we have a Domino's not too far from here. We can see that in this view, but we don't really have a good way of narrowing down what part of the country to look in or anything like that. But while I was doing that, Andy Burkett in the chat mentioned that there was a Cato Fashions in Mississippi that might be right. And I actually missed that message for several minutes while I continued looking. But guys, that was it. You were here at the Copper Creek Shopping Center in Indianola, Mississippi. Now, I should have stuck with that most obvious clue of Copper Creek and kept going through the list, because even though a brute force search through a list of results can be really tedious, sometimes it's still faster than trying to find a more elegant solution. Anyway, here's the Copper Creek sign, and we can see the T-Mobile and the Cato Fashions, and the other store, which was in fact a beauty supply. The closest previous location to this one was actually in the last live stream I did. It was one of the locations in the January 1st live stream in North Little Rock, Arkansas. But that's actually kind of far from here. It's about 129 miles or 207 kilometers away. Guys, I had a lot of fun during the live stream, even though you had to watch me fumble around and stare at my screen and do a lot of typing, which probably wasn't very interesting. Copper Creek Drive. But I appreciate you guys being patient, and I hope you enjoyed it too. If you'd like to watch and maybe participate in the next live, make sure that you check me out over at this place, because that's where it's going to happen.